Welcome to the podcast, where it's all about
Fingerboarding.
Hola, tablones de dedos. This is Ollie,
And this is Tom,
and thank you for listening to the third episode of
the Fingerboard PopCast.
Yes. We going straight into our follow-up, because we have a lot of follow-up to do. The last two episodes we discussed a lot of topics that got updated now, or we have more information about. So we start with...
The Femblance video.
Yes, we had Anian in our last episode. She's the woman behind the YouTube edit. It was released on her YouTube channel as she predicted on 10th of June. And it's all women fingerboard edit with 18 riders. Tom, do you want to share your opinion on it?
I really liked it a lot. I was looking forward to maybe discovering new riders, as I did. And I liked almost all the parts. I liked all the parts, I must say. And yeah, the only thing is I was kind of missing an intro. And as some comments said, there have been no names in the video. So you didn't know who the rider is sometimes. But it's all has been in this description. And Annie also said on Instagram that she decided to do it this way because she liked it more without the names.
Was her personal style choice, I think, yeah.
And that was cool too.
Mm-hmm.
And everything else about it I really enjoyed.
Yeah, I liked it a lot as well. I think, as you said, there was not really an intro. It was straight into it. But on the other hand, Jana's part was first. And also with the music and her part, I thought it was such a good mood start to the video. You know, I think it set the tone right. But if I'm...
That's right. And she had a nice intro too, so
yeah,
it felt like an intro, but yeah, somehow I expected to see all the riders shortly at first.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's also cool that way.
Totally. If I'm allowed to share my personal favorite, or if anyone's interested in it, my favorite part was Kristen Battistelli. The park, like tricks I've never seen, the music, for me, it all came together in her part. And big shout out there. And also when it came to trick creativity, I thought Annie's part was sick as well. I think also she did some moves I haven't seen before. I haven't thought of. I think that was sick. But that's just our personal opinion. We want to follow that up with some facts. 18 girls were in there, as we said. Annie didn't want to say in our last episode who it is. She said you'll see when the video is out. And if you haven't seen it yet, I will tell you now. It was Melly Curtis, Kristen Battistelli, Rachel Alano, Annie herself, Savannah Simpson, Kelsey Barker, Jana Kammer, Abby Wu, Sarah Smith, Maria Jose Rios, Ash Hazelwood, Ronnie White, Maya Volpaccio, Katharina Schütz from the Fingerboard store, Lena Claire, Beta Gutierrez Diaz, Daisy Watson, and Maddie Stevens. And Jana, if you don't know it yourself, has a podcast as well. She does the Switchcraft Podcast together with Julian Bueno. And on the 14th of June, they released their newest episode together with Anian as well. And they're interviewing her, so if you want to know more about the video and everything, go listen to that episode. It's pretty interesting.
And also, as most of you know, the Flatface video was released and we both watched it and took notes. Yeah, I mean, obviously this is gonna be only personal opinion and totally subjective, but to me it was awesome. And a little nostalgic, because it brought me back to the old days when longer videos comparable to this one were released way more frequently. And also the intro, which was identical with the trailer, which I already enjoyed a lot. It kept its promise in terms of quality and technicality, etc. I mean, obviously we could talk about this movie for a whole episode and even then couldn't do it justice in terms of all the works that went into it. And it's like every part would be worth mentioning, and the usual suspects like Mike, Jay, and Ramon, and so on they really delivered some rad parts again. But we only want to mention a few things that really caught our attention, and I'm gonna start by going through my list. The first thing I noted was Chris Dezo's part. I felt it was a little short. I would have loved to see a bit more. He only wrote like one spot.
It's also always with the things you like. It's always too short. Like favorite songs and stuff. Yeah,
that's true. But
totally.
Compared to the parts before, it was like really short. Mike and Jay's part was before his, and then his was like way shorter than theirs. So that was kind of obvious.
True.
The next thing is John Coward's part, which I really enjoyed, and there was like one trick that I loved, I think, the most out of all the tricks in the video, which was a switch inward heel, switch nose grind, flip out, and he did it so stylish, and I really enjoyed that one. And I think I never seen it before. And the part right after John was Scott Bisbeur, which I want to mention because I always love when the music syncs up with the writing and the landings and stuff, or on the beat, and he did that really good, and
sweet.
I love that.
You see, there was effort into the editing, put into the editing.
And I feel that gives the whole, also the writing and the optics gives it more rhythm and drive, and I love it.
Sweet.
And 2 parts later, it was Ed Garner's part.
Also on my list.
It was so much like a skateboard video that I just, I had to laugh, and especially when the cops walked in on him when he was at night on a street spot. And his whole part was outdoor, and it was just like with an old school hip hop beat, just like an old school skate video, and that I really enjoyed. And I think it was the only part which is only outdoors, I think.
I 100% agree. I have it on the list, on my list, for the same reasons, definitely.
Another one was Seth Pendleton.
I agree.
Obviously had the craziest spot, and his part was virtual reality like, and just watch it. You will like it too, I guess. It was so different and creative. I just loved it. Next thing I want to mention is Alex Christ's funny intro.
That was good.
I think no one did it like that before, and I think I also read many comments who said they loved that part. Then the first girl part, I think, in the video had Mallory Curtis. And right after that, Victoria Wiesner. And then next after Victoria was Nico Frank, who had a really nice editing. And I think, in my opinion, maybe the best editing in the whole video. And of course, at the end, the 2 welcome parts. That's always interesting to see.
What? I don't know what you're talking about. I feel that is something we should discuss later.
Okay. So, stay tuned.
The parts that I still want to mention, I mean, you mentioned most of the ones I had written down as well. I found really funny in the Friends section the part of Zeish Obolowitz, who was only in the Flatface video because Mike thought it's Keith Killian and had written it the same guy, with the wrong guy. Pat McGinn's Ender part was so sick because it was full of banger tricks, but my personal favorite was Tim Hurley, who lays on the ground makes tricks on the worst cardboard ramps I've ever seen, and it so took me back to when I started with a tech deck building ramps out of cardboard in the early 2000s, and also the music was like also like Blink-182, like also like from that time, it just took me back, and it was amazing. Shout out!
I forgot to mention that it brought back so many memories.
I
loved it too.
definitely. So, for own personal nostalgic reasons, I thought Tim Hurley was such a great pod. A few facts about the video. I checked last on the 9th of June. It had more than 24,500 plays then, which I think is sick, and I think we can assume you've all seen it when you listen to that. As announced, it was released 1st of June. It's almost 1.5 hours long, and it features wide parts of the team and plenty of guests. And of course, where can you find it? If you haven't seen it yet, on Mike Schneider's YouTube channel. And it's called Flatface 2020 full-length fingerboard video.
Another follow-up we have is the Stoned Obstacles online shop went online. It's stonedobstacles.bigcartel.com, and Ollie, who wrote to Vannes, has some more information about that.
Yes, I contacted Vannes, and he told me actually that his stock sold out within 6 minutes. So wow. That's just crazy, yeah. So when you go on the website, unfortunately everything is sold out. He announced it 6th of June via his Instagram account that his shop is online. Yeah, and 6 minutes and all was gone. Yeah. He said though that he's working heavily on producing more. Of course, he wants to meet the demand. So check out his Insta account, stoned.obstacles, for more information and also for a chance to win a Stoned Obstacle. He currently has a giveaway there. Yeah, that's that. And we can move on to our next topic,
which is the Battle of the Gram, which has a winner right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, the last battle took place on the 7th of June between Lucas Biesel from Germany and Adrian Valesquez from Barcelona, Spain. Yeah, they had a sick battle. And Ollie, did you watch it?
Yeah, I saw it, and it was very hard flip heavy. I would say there was a lot of double hard flips, fakey double hard flips, so tricks you definitely would have gotten me with. I would have not been able to do. No, it was sick, and Adrian emerged as a winner. He's from Barcelona, Spain, and he writes for Kinkala fingerboards, such as Goldus FB, who we discussed in our show already, and for Oak Wheels. So we know who's the winner. We also know who won place 3. I thought that was also a notable battle. It was Sébastien Olivin from France, and I think it was another sick battle with Michal Geboris from Poland. And I thought it was pretty cool that all the first 4 places, that everyone came from a different country. I thought...
Didn't notice, but
yeah,
it's pretty cool.
I thought it was pretty cool. You had France, Spain, Germany and Poland in there.
Nice, yeah.
So
quite international.
Yeah, I thought that's a cool thing. And I want to say one last thing to the Battle of the Gram. I mean, we discussed it in length in our last episode, but I again want to give a big shout out to the organizers for such 2 great tournaments, and to get people together from all over the world. Good work.
Yeah, good job, guys. And we're looking forward to the 3rd episode. As listeners of our podcast already know, there will be one, and yeah, we're quite interested in how that will go.
Definitely. You'll hear about it here.
Yeah, and that's it for the follow-up. And we go straight into the news. And our first news this time is connected to the follow-up because it has to do with the Flatface video. At the end of it, there were 2 welcome parts. One was for Stefan Lundberg and one for Ryan Bernier. And yeah, we were quite interested why Mike wanted them on team and how long he already knows them and stuff like that. So we asked Mike and got a statement again from him.
And here it is.
This year, Flatface welcomes 2 new team riders, which you saw introduced during the Flatface video towards the end. And those riders are Ryan Bernier and Stefan Lundberg. And basically, I've been friends with both of them for a very long time. And They're super good fingerboarders, super good people. We always have a blast together. So, it's the Flatface team is just kind of, I'm not just going to put somebody on there because they're good at fingerboarding. And I'm not just going to put somebody on there because they're my friend. Like, it's got to be both. And it's a very specific kind of, like, type of person you have to be. So if you're really positive and upbeat and you're nice to other people and you do good things for fingerboarding, and that doesn't mean you have to be crazy active, but just, you're a positive light in the fingerboard community, then, that's something that I look for and that I care about, because it's all about uplifting everybody and stuff like that. And so I've known Ryan for a long time. I went to his event in New York, in upstate New York, like many years ago. I don't even know how long it was, probably, 5 to 10 years ago, something like that. And he came to Rendezvous a few times a long time ago, like when I didn't know him or anything. And it was super fun. I didn't really get to know him the first few times, but I knew of him, that he was there. And then, just like at some point we ended up like getting to know each other better. Probably like when I went to his place, to his event, and stayed at his house and stuff like that. And then, eventually he actually moved into my house for a little while because he wanted to try living like in this area. So he got to live at my house for like a year. And then he got his own place like really close by, so we got to still hang out all the time. And yeah, he's an awesome dude. So we kind of always joked. I was like, you should be on Flatface, but I'm not going to put you on the team. Like, I don't know, it's like a stupid joke, because a lot of like the older dudes that are super good, and then it's like they get on the team and then it's like, what's their motivation anymore? They already like made it. So I was like, I'm just gonna jokingly not put him on the team so that he can like keep fingerboarding really well and not get lazy. But it's really just a joke. So eventually I was like, all right, enough of that. He really does deserve to be on the team. He's an amazing fingerboarder and, a really close friend of mine. So it doesn't even make sense that he's not on, even if it's just like as a joke. Like it makes more sense. So yeah, he got on the team. And then Stefan being on the team is awesome too. He's another really good friend. And, actually me and him and Ryan would hang out a bunch too together and stuff. And, Stefan just like knows every SpongeBob quote. So that's pretty much, I could stop right there and you guys would understand, but there's more to it. He's also a really awesome friend, a really good fingerboarder. He's got a pretty unique style and always shreds. He's a good skateboarder too. Super fun to skate with. He just like, I don't know, he's a little too good for me. No, he's awesome. And yeah, it's just always super good times fingerboarding with Stefan, with both of them really. So I'm super happy to have them both on the Flatface team. And you'll actually find both of their products at Flatface too. Stefan makes devised decks, which are really cool. I like them a lot. I have a really good one set up. They're a little bit steeper than my boards, and like a little bit more of like a crisp shape, and they work really, really well. I can do really difficult tricks very easily with them. So that's something that I like about his boards a lot. They're always really well made, very solid, and got lots of pop and really cool graphics and just awesome. And then Ryan makes loft granite obstacles that are just like the best granite stuff I've ever seen, because he makes them by hand. He has a saw, he has all these polishing tools, and what sets his granite apart from anyone else is the way that he polishes stuff. He polishes every edge of everything super well. So it's not just that the top is smooth and the sides are rough, it's that the sides are smooth too, and it makes like an overall, just like, if you're grinding, you're not just on the top, you hit the edge a little bit too, you're kind of on the corner. And so his stuff having those rounded edges and smooth sides and smooth tops and corners and everything, it just makes for the smoothest granite you'll ever use. Like, you'll think you're just floating, kind of, and it's really good. And not only that, but he makes unique obstacles too, so it's not just like, you know, I've had the Flatface bench for a long time, and it's like a staple, and it's very basic, but he goes above and beyond and makes, like, you know, crazy little plaza things, and things with, like, multiple legs on the higher bench part, and all kinds of cool stuff, like grass and rocks, and just, like, real granite stuff that's, you know, it's just next level. It's the best, highest quality, and, like, really realistic, and you can tell, like, way too much work goes into them, you know? He's one of those people that works really hard. He, like, doesn't do things like the lazy way or the quick way. He, like, really does everything right and just puts in a lot of work. So I definitely recommend supporting him. You can buy his stuff on his website. You can buy it on Flatface. And yeah, what else? That's about it, I think. So yeah, welcome again, Stefan Lundberg and Ryan Bernier, to the Flatface team. And thank you guys for everything you do for fingerboarding and for all the good times and all that kind of stuff. And sick parts too.
Yeah, great. Looks like that happened for all the right reasons. Friendship, fun, and living together.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and Ollie also contacted Ryan for more information and also has more background infos about his company and stuff. And yeah, let's listen.
Yeah, thank you, Tom. Ryan is, I think Mike already said in his statement who Ryan and Stefan are, and Ryan is the man behind Loft. If you haven't seen his granite ramps, definitely check them out. I think the most famous example we all know from Jay Linehan's Instaclaps. He has filmed a lot of them on his Barcelona bench, on his replica of the Barcelona benches. His Insta is loft.fb if you want to check it out. And his part in the video was almost exclusively filmed on his own ramps and spots he has built out of granite as well. So yeah, go check them. With Ryan, I had contact via messages only, so you won't hear one of our signature fake call-ins now. But nevertheless, he gave us some information, and as he basically says the same thing that Mike says. He says they have been friends for a long time, and he feels like he was on the team for a long time now, and they never made it official. And Mike and him were joking around it for years, and he said it just felt weird to have a part in the Flatface video, but not being officially on the team, so they decided to make it a welcome part, kind of, afterwards. Yeah, that's it. And if you want to hear Ryan's voice and want to know more about him, we can only refer again to the Switchcraft podcast. Their episode prior to the one with Annie was with Ryan, so check that out if you want to know more about him.
And the other new team rider, Stefan Lundberg, who didn't have a Switchcraft interview yet, was kind enough to answer some questions. And our first question to him was how long he knows Mike for, and how exactly did Mike tell him that he is on the team and when. And here's his answer.
Hey, thank you guys for having me on. It definitely is an honor to be part of the Flatface team. I met Mike in 2014 on the Flatface Black River Tour in California. Specifically at the Venice Skate Park Tour stop is when I first got to talk to him. He was really nice and was hyped to find out that I grew up in Massachusetts and that the first rendezvous I went to was number 8. I had been making decks for a few years at this point, so I offered Mike for me to make him a board and give it to him next weekend at the Stoner Skate Park stop. And at the final stop at Grinders in Huntington Beach, him and some of our other friends came over to my house to fingerboard. He asked to distribute my company devised fingerboards on Flatface, and I was stoked. I was actually about to move back to the East Coast around that time, and he told me we will have to hang out more when I get back. So for those 3 years that I momentarily moved back to the East Coast, I was going to every single one of Mike's monthly store sessions, and usually hanging out with him for the whole weekend after. I moved out back here to Huntington Beach, California a little over a year ago. Mike posted that he was filming a team video, and I asked him if I could be a part of it, and he said yes.
As Mike and Stefan both mentioned, he's the man behind Device Fingerboards. And of course, we didn't stop there asking him questions. And our next question was if his welcome part, being part of the video, if that was coincidence time-wise or if it was planned from the beginning on to make it like this. And here is what he said.
When I asked Mike to film a part for the video, I said that I know I'm not on the team, but can I film a part for the team video? And he said yes. He also told me to make it my best part ever. Every trick should be difficult or creative. And then we left the conversation at that and didn't discuss it further. Due to COVID-19 happening, I was out of work for a couple months, so I knew this would be a great time to film a new fingerboard part because I hadn't filmed one in 4 years. I had about a month to film and aimed to film a few tricks every day and then to pick my favorites out of everything. I stuck by his word and tried my best to get some creative clips and what I consider some pretty tough ones. I had a lot of fun finding spots out in the streets. A lot of the spots I filmed were at skate spots where I was out and about skating and filmed in the moment. Then I had a really fun day where I purposely went around all day strictly to film outdoor fingerboard clips, and it was great. I also had a lot of days where I would fingerboard on my Black River Big Mini for hours at a time and pick my favorite stuff out of there. After I was done editing my part, I sent it over to Mike with no titles in it, as I wanted my part to have a uniform font with everyone else's in the video. So he really enjoyed my part, which made me feel comfortable to ask if we wanted to title it as a Welcome to Flatface part. He said to me, I was thinking the same thing. Welcome to the team.
All right, cool, yeah. Sometimes you just have to ask.
Yeah, there you go, kids.
Just try. Yeah, and the last thing we asked him was if there's something more he wants to mention, and let us know. And here's what he said.
It's such an honor to be on the same team as the ones who inspired me over the years. When I was first finding fingerboarding videos online, a lot of my favorite fingerboarders were on Flatface, like Mike, the Dirty Harry, Illinois Crew, a bunch of other people. It was really awesome to watch everyone progress, including myself, and I'm just really thankful how things have been going. I would like to shout out those especially who have companies and keep the scene growing positively, especially like the Illinois Crew, John at Calply, Scott with Dynamic, Don at Arc Ramps, and Chris with Snakehouse. Black River and Berlinwood for also being a big inspirations for me growing up. Always got a bunch of those fingerboards. They really inspired me with making my own boards one day, which I wound up doing, which is awesome to have my own company now too. Those who host fingerboard events, as that is a very important part of our scene. Shout out to those doing events out here in California too. Nash at Sorry for Fingerboarding, Grinders for letting us host the events there, George at SoCal G8. I know I'm definitely forgetting people, so I apologize in advance, but last and certainly not least is my team for Devise, helping keeping the brand alive and myself inspired. Alex Mistulakis, Alex Hancock, Alex Garcia, and Alan Aguidello. Thank you again, Ollie and PopDex, for having me on the Fingerboard Podcast.
Sweet. Thank you, Stefan, for that really nice statement that you have sent in, that you took the time. And you're right, of course. Thank you, all the guys who keep the scene alive. And I think events are a big part of it. And that's an opinion we share with a lot of people, but we also share with Mike, who also had some last words that he wanted to let all of you know. And just have a listen.
Also, Stefan did some events too, which is really cool. He had some fingerboard events at his local skate park, which is awesome, because it got a pretty good crowd in. A lot of people came, and then people that were at the skate park could also check it out. And yeah, so I went to that in Rhode Island before, or actually I guess it was on the edge of Massachusetts, but it's the park that he would always go to. It's right near Rhode Island. And yeah, that was a super cool event too. So, doing events is a really, really cool thing that people can do for the fingerboard community in general. So yeah, I just wanted to thank Stefan for doing those and thank Ryan for doing the one that he did. And yeah, anyone, if you're thinking about doing a fingerboard event somewhere, especially if there's no events in your area, you can do it. Anybody can do it. it helps, if you can ask your parents to help you if you're younger, or just in general, it's good to have the help. You can't really do it as one person because you just need a little bit of help to organize everything and make sure it's all under control. You probably could do it as just one person, but if you have help, friends, parents, whatever, I definitely want to encourage everybody to do fingerboard events. And if it's small and you don't have much, you don't have any ramps, or you only have a few, bring what you have, and then tell people to bring what they have, and just get some tables, and everybody can put their stuff on them and just go for it. Just have a little meetup. And if it's if it's 5 people or if it's 500 people, it doesn't matter, because you're going to be making 5 people's day. If it's 5 people, you guys are going to have so much fun. And people are going to see that, you can film videos and stuff like that. And then, then you're going to have more interest. People in your area are going to be like, oh, that was a cool event, I want to go. And so then your next event, it's going to have 10 people or 15 people or 20 people. And before you know it, you're going to have a huge event. Every single time you do it, it's pretty much going to grow bigger and bigger. The first rendezvous was like 7 of us. The second one was probably 20 plus. And then, it got 30, 40 people. And then it was to the point where I had to rent out a building to do it after that. And then it quickly went from like being this invite only thing where it was like 40 people to like, everyone's allowed to come, and it's hundreds of people, and it's awesome. So, you can dream big and you can start small. And I didn't really dream big. It just kind of happened that way. So you don't even need a goal. Like, I would really focus on just, pulling off an event, making it happen, bringing people together to fingerboard. And even if it stays as a small session with a few friends, that's super awesome. And if you guys see the potential to like invite more people and, set up more stuff and make it bigger, definitely do it.
Thanks a lot, Mike, for doing even more than we asked you to and giving us some words of wisdom on top. That's great, thanks. And now for our second and main topic this episode, we are discussing a political topic for a change, and that is the Black Lives Matter movement and its influences on the fingerboard scene. I think this topic should be present to all of you worldwide, and nevertheless, we want to give you a short rundown of what happened so far, and Ollie has prepared something here, so here it is.
Following the murder of George Floyd on 25th of May while being in police custody, protests arise in Minneapolis, the US, and then worldwide. The main topic is the unequal treatment of people of black skin color and the unfortunately still present racism. Different approaches are shown in the US to deal with the protests. Unfortunately, hard violence is still an answer in some cities, and the death count is still rising. As of the 8th of June, there was a minimum of 21 confirmed deaths in relation with the protests, regarding to the New York Times. Other states showed good examples and willingness to change. As an example, the Democrats in California, where Governor Gavin Newsom took action right away and introduced a legislation to ban the police from using carotid artery restraints and chokeholds when detaining suspects. Furthermore, they are calling for a new statewide standard for use of force in protests, regulating the use of rubber bullets and tear gas. And as we are not a political podcast, we're discussing that, of course, not from a political point of view, but as Tom already said, the impacts on the fingerboard scene. And I think, luckily or happily, a lot of people got involved and didn't silence the topic. A lot of them helped by speaking out. I think, Tom, we have both seen a lot of things prior and also after Blackout Tuesday.
Oh yeah, many people speaking out, and
Yeah.
not only that, some of them also donated, and that's one thing we want to mention. And to give you just a few examples for that, We have for once Annie Jan, who shifted the release of the Femblance trailer from originally planned 2nd of June to 1 day later, so it isn't colliding with the Blackout Tuesday. Then Girl in Red repeatedly posted about protests in her story and updated her bio link to the blacklivesmatter.card.co, which is a website explaining how you can help, collecting informations, petitions, charities, and so on. And Mike Schneider did the same.
And Tom, you already mentioned it. There were also companies who donated for you, basically. We'll come later to it, why that is important. And the two examples we want to present you today are Unique Decks from Mallory Curtis, and Brandon from Lakewood. They took two different approaches. Tom, do you want to tell us what Unique Decks did?
Yeah, she donated all the proceeds from 2nd and 3rd of June to the Black Lives Matter Foundation.
Yeah, that were made via her web shop.
Yeah, which is quite a cool move.
It's really nice. And Brandon made some special decks with special graphics, two different kinds, and he donated all the proceeds made with the sales from these two decks towards the Reclaim the Block organization. And as it is usually in our podcast, we of course talk to them, and we got some statements from Brandon. We asked him some questions, and the first question was, why did you feel the urge to donate towards that movement? And here is his answer.
I felt it was important that I did something, and just as these recordings are an example, I find myself in my daily life just being so busy between projects and company work and my other job outside of this, and just so much stuff going on, that I felt I needed to find a way that I could do something about this, that I can make a bit of a change and do something. So this was the way I found that I could do it. And I'm not unique in doing this. A lot of companies came out of the woodwork and decided to start doing, donations, whether it be through custom stock or through their own products already on the website or whatever capacity they could do. I'm not unique in this, but we've come together to be able to do this in our own unique ways, and that is something I feel is important. And it's not like it needed to be done, but I wanted to do it. That's why I felt the quote-unquote need to do something.
And our second question was how he chose the graphics, and will there be more in the future like this? He already answered part of it, but he had some more information to tell us about, and here it is.
The images were actually images chosen from some of the riots that have been going on, and some of the early ones especially, in regards to this entire movement. And when choosing these images, they both kind of just spoke to me because they both have very similar theming, with obviously the subject matter and the composition of the photo. And then on top of that, having the black bars towards top and bottom, basically covered in both tails, and having some of those slightly cover the design. It was something that kind of popped to mind that just felt like it fit for them. It wasn't even particularly because of the design color. It was just the way the composition fit. It just really fit the design overall in my head. It made the boards feel like they had a fuller feel to them, an emphasis, that there was some kind of weight to the design. That's the only way I can describe it, how it was in my head, and it just felt like that was something that needed to be done. Something that had to be done that way specifically. I chose those specific designs, like I said, because they were from some of the very early incidents that happened with the riots that resulted as a, reactionary action from the protests being disrupted by certain actions that police forces did. And at the end of the day, here's the biggest thing for me personally. Seeing those images, seeing those out there in social media was what really spoke to me that, hey, something's wrong. A lot of people in not just the US, but in the world, like to go about their day just being like, oh, yep, something happened, but it didn't happen to me, so I'm fine. And I think, especially in fingerboarding, that's a lot of the mentality that goes about the hobby. A lot of people like to separate hobby stuff from, everyday life stuff. But it's important we acknowledge when something's wrong. And one of the biggest ways you can show something you feel or how you want to express yourself or express a topic is through your board, through a setup, through a media type on the bottom, whether it be with stickers or hand drawn art or who knows what. You can convey a lot of personal meaning and overall meaning by what's displayed in the bottom of your board. So when I was making those boards for this cause with Lakewood, that same kind of concept popped to mind. I wanted to kind of convey something with them, to explain and emphasize on something that's happening and be like, hey, this is a thing. This happened. Whether you want to go about your average Tuesday acting like it didn't, it did. And we need to talk about it.
Yes, Brandon, and you're right. Talking about it is a big part of it, and that's what we do here. So thank you already for being part of it.
The second part to the second question was, will there be more in the future? That's a good question, and I'm actually very flattered you wanted to ask that, because one of the biggest things about this whole Black Lives Matter movement that I think a lot of companies will either understand or haven't really thought of is the fact that this is not just a weekend thing. This is not just a special occasion event that happens once and never again. Or at least it shouldn't be. Because if we're going to treat it like that, we are missing the point. You miss the point of something when you make it its own exception when it's not supposed to be an exception, but rather the standard. The thing about that I mean is that right now, right here in this moment when I'm recording this topic is still rather fresh. It is still something that is relevant. And a lot of companies already jumped onto the topic and did their thing, and they probably still are, a lot of them. But I do fear that some, if not a lot of them, will move past it, and then that'll just be it. Because that's how social media works nowadays. Social media, in-person gatherings, just everything is just so boom, 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 jumping to the next thing, the next topic, the next buzz thing. And this is not something that should do that. I do not care what people have opinion-wise on the topic. It is not something that needs to be moved past and straight into the next topic, because that's not how this topic works. And I think a lot of people don't understand that, because I in my case right now am quote unquote a bit behind, because I didn't make a big deal out of it, and I didn't jump as early as possible, and it wasn't like something that I super pushed marketing wise, and I don't really have to, because the boards all sold within 24 hours of being launched, because they sold because people wanted to support the cause. They talked for themselves. And if I choose to do this again, I can do it again at any point. I could do it a month from now. I could do it 2 days from now. I could do it again whenever I'd like. And I think it's something that I will do again. And you guys may be able to expect more from it, because it's not something that should just be done once and then moved on from. Just because we're supporting Black Lives Matter, that whole movement and concept now, does not mean that we should not be supporting it a month from now, 2 months from now, 3 years from now. That's not how it works. Those people that have to deal with those type of things, I can't understand how they feel, because I'm not those type of people. But they don't get a choice if they have to deal with the concept. So why do we have the opportunity to think about how we want to go about helping? Why do we get to be selective? It's not even the question of why do we get to be selective. It's rather the case of we should be more persistent on wanting to be supportive. It's not about just doing it now. It's about something that should be done, period. It's kind of a weird thing to explain. That's just the concept in my head.
And the next question we asked is, how did he choose Reclaim the Block, the organization or charity he's donating to, over other charities? Like, what was his thought, his urge to donate to this specific one? And he said,
all of these things I'm saying are genuine, but a lot of this is also off just the top of my head, because one, it's very late, and two, this is just me as a person. I'm not going to sit here and have a perfect script. I'm not going to sit here and have a perfect reasoning. I am just me. But this kind of it leads into why I chose Reclaim the Block as this run's donation location. I chose this one because I looked into it and it felt like the one I was super comfortable with going and putting money towards because it seems to be the most structured that I understand right now. Again, and this is selfish but true, I'm a very busy person. I am just incredibly, inundatedly busy in my life. I work 2 other side jobs outside of Lakewood. I run Lakewood and the many collabs that it is involved with. I like to have a social life when I can outside of it. I have people that I care about, people I like spend time with, and I have my own personal projects outside of Lakewood, but still within fingerboarding. I'm just a busy person. So when I think about like where I want the money that people are willing to put towards this cause, where I want it to go, I want to make sure it goes towards something that I feel is reputable and trustworthy. And I'm sure a lot of the donations out there, or places to donate to rather, are trustworthy. I don't doubt them. But this is one of the ones that I was like, okay, you know what? This is a safe bet for me at least, and for people's money to go towards something important. To relay to the question I had just a second ago, or the one that was asked to me rather, if I do more runs of this in the future, which I do want to, absolutely, I want to do more. In the event that I do, of course, I am going to choose different donation locations with each run. It's not all going to go towards one place. As a matter of fact, the next one that I was looking into that I was really interested in doing was doing another donation run with a different design, actually going towards, I don't know the name off the top of my head, I suck like that, but it was a organization that's helping out with black trans lives, actually, because that's like a very specific type of niche thing that genuinely needs support as well. Obviously they all do, for of course, but like that one was one I thought was interesting, and I'd love to do a run to be able to give them some more funds to go towards their cause and whatnot. I'm not the most educated on this type of stuff. I'm not, but I feel it's important that I try to help out how I can, and this is how I can do it.
And as our last question, we wanted to know, is there anything else you want to let the people know who are already part of the movement and the people that aren't yet?
My personal response to this goes out to both of those groups, and it relays back to a couple of messages ago where I was talking about that this is not something that is just right now and something that needs to be done, period. I think I understand where my thought process was going with that, so let me try and elaborate on that. When it comes to this problem, this movement, this situation, whatever buzzword people want to use about it, this whole concept is something that has been going on. It exists, and it cannot be debated. It does not matter how a person personally feels about it. It is a genuine fact that this is a thing that happens. The whole concept, prejudice, racial profiling, all this big shebang. It happens. It doesn't matter if it's a black person or a white person fighting about it. Like, on either side of the fence about if it does or does not exist. It does not matter. It does. It's a fact. And just because we're focused on it right now, and just because there's protests still going on, and that there are riots going on, and people are focusing on like, oh, they're the bad guys, it doesn't matter. You see, here's the thing about it. This is the thing that I think a lot of people don't think about and understand, is that it doesn't matter. Because what matters is what we do with it. What we do with this movement, this power, this momentum. And right now, people are doing fucking great things with it. Everyone out there that can physically be there at a protest, Godspeed to them. I'm impressed. I'm proud. I can't personally. I'm too busy. I worked a retail job on top of a teaching job. I have a small business, and I've got, family I interact with. Like, I can't. I have too many other things to take care of. I know a lot of people would be like, well, you should be out there still. And yeah, I want to be, but I have other things to do. So doing this with Lakewood is how I'm being there. I'm getting money gathered to donate towards a cause because I feel the cause is worthy. The whole concept is worthy. And I think that's what I'd like to say to people involved or not involved and may want to get involved. Do it. Do it how you can. Do it how you feel that you can and can manage, and how you want to. It does not matter if it is a person that is going out there and being physically present and protesting, or somebody that's just at home wanting to talk about the topic and get more momentum for it in the simplest way possible, just social media. Both are doing something. One might be doing more per se, but it doesn't matter. They're both doing something, and that's what the whole thing needs. Any size ball can be rolled if enough push is put into it. And that's, I think, the thing that some people forget is that everybody, no matter how much they push, if they push in the same direction, it will help to get that ball rolling. I may not be able to be there protesting myself. I may not be able to be the most educated on the matter, but I'm still able to use my skill and something that I have worked on over years towards helping with this because I feel it's right. I feel it's something that I support, and I feel it's something I want to do. And I think it's important because there's people that are involved right now that are still wanting to do great things, and I'm beyond proud of those people. And there's still people out there that might even be hearing this somehow that don't know how to get involved or don't know what to do or how they could even help. But sometimes it's not about the how. Maybe it's more so about the why. Because if you feel that it's right and you want to do something, maybe that should be your reason why. Just do something. Find a way that works for you. It's important.
Thank you so much, Brendan. I think all of your statements had really smart points in them. Also, thank you for doing that thing in general, for donating that money. And you're right. The people should just do something and do what is within their power. It doesn't mean to go out and beyond and be the superhero, you know, and change the world. Everyone can do within their limits, and the sum of all these actions will get the ball rolling, as you said it in your statement. And I want to mention something else. Brendan has sent us another voice message, and he said in that voice message that it's our choice, Tom and mine, if we want to edit that into that episode or if it's just between us three. And we decided to not play you that statement, but to kind of sum it up what he is saying. And I hope I sum it up in a way that Brendan is satisfied with it, because I think it's really important what he says there. It's just that he says it in a 7-minute statement, and that kind of would overtake the length of this episode, which will already be pretty long. So instead of cutting it and maybe giving out a false information in his words, so you would get the fake idea that he said it, I will say from the beginning on, I'm summing up what he says, and therefore you know how to take it. And he said that he thinks that it's really important to have offers like Mallory had or like he has, because some people who don't have a lot of money may not have the money to donate, and therefore it's a way for them to do something as well. As he said, everyone should do what's within their possibilities. He said, as an example, if you have only $100 a month to play around with, and you need to decide if to buy food or whatever, and you saved forever for a fingerboard, and then this shit happens that happens in the world right now, you might not have the easy choice to just donate £30 because you dollars or euros, sorry, whatever currency, but you have not the opportunity to just donate that because you saved and saved and saved and you wanted to buy a fingerboard, as an example. So he says he thinks it's a great way for everyone, because Brendan just puts time into it, not money. Just time, I'm saying. Brendan puts time into it, not money. And that kid buys the fingerboard and gets the fingerboard, but nevertheless, in the end, there was donated money. And he thinks that's important, the outcome is important. And if he has a way to help other people to donate, and he also can donate himself during that way, I think it's a win for everyone. And I think it's a great message and a great opportunity. And therefore, thank you, Brandon, for all your statements and for everything you do.
Yeah, and my name too. Thanks. And now we move on to our last news topic today, which is the fact that Harald Schön from Berlin made some new Harrier ramps, which we've seen on the Aussie Instagram page. Yeah, he did a new design, and we had some questions about that too.
Yeah, he brought out a kicker. It's doesn't sound like big news, but I think Harrier ramps always have such a unique style, and so has this kicker. It has coping on both sides of the ramp, and then has its typical style, with the typical stamp, the brick look. I think I liked it. I'm looking forward to the release. And the first question was about this unique style of the ramp. We asked if with the coping he blended as a mix between pole bank, curb and kicker.
Thank you. Yeah, there is some cooping on the side of the ramp. It comes out of the Henneman mold, and I didn't really plan it like that. It just came out like that. I tried it and it just works out. It was funny.
Thank you, Harry, for that answer. And we saw on the pictures, it looked like it came in 2 different sizes, but we weren't sure, so we asked.
Yeah, it comes in 2 sizes, in a small one and in a bigger one size. Like the small one, which I would prefer, and the bigger one, which Timo Kranz and people like Ramon would prefer.
And the next question we had was if it will be only available at the Aussie Berlin shop, where we've seen it on their Instagram page, or will they be anywhere else also, for example, on the Flatface page?
Yeah, at the moment they're available at the Aussie Berlin web store, and soon, when I will have the next trip to the next rendezvous, they will be available on Flatface too.
Yeah, so much for the new kicker. That's the news. And for all of you who don't know Harry or Harrier yet, we thought we ask him also to be part of our next category, which you, our frequently listeners, already know. It's the listener behind the scene, and this will, in this episode, be all about Harrier.
Exactly. Harrier Ramps was founded in 2010 by Harald Schön from Berlin, and he started off with barriers, and later there was a pretty famous low quarter/curb ramp. He uses a special material which seems to be something between concrete and ceramic. At the beginning they were pretty plain white ramps, but he added lots of love and details over the years. He had his own webshop in the past, and also was sold via Flatface and the Aussie Berlin store, and via Black River webshop as well.
And the first question we asked Harry was, when was the company founded? Just to confirm we had the right fact there.
When was Harrier Ramps founded? Damn, that is a good question. I guess around 2009-10-ish. Yeah, around that time.
And of course we were also interested what was his motivation and idea behind it.
I guess back in the days everybody was building ramps, and I built it like a barrier with a special material, and a lot of my friends were asking if they can buy them, and I was like, yeah, sure. So I guess I should make a company, and a barrier plus Harry is like a Harrier. So yeah, that was the idea or motivation behind it.
And the next question is do you remember your first sale, and what was it?
My first ever sale was back in the days to a friend from the Team Berlin Roll team. It was, I guess, Piran or Thies. One of these two.
Also, we wanted to know, as usual in skateboarding and fingerboarding, do you have a team? And if so, who's in it?
I don't really have an officially team yet, but I'm planning to build one. There are a few people which I really like, and they get the ramps cheaper or more or less for free. And yeah, I'm gonna build a team soon.
Now that there are new Harrier ramps, we also asked what are the plans for the future, Harry? Is there more new stuff coming? and so on. And he said,
What are my plans for the future? Damn, I guess don't take it too serious. Like, always when I take it too serious, I'm super disappointed and all the stuff. So I'm just chilling and having a good time like always. And yeah.
And as we said earlier, Harrier already had its own web shop. So we asked, will that come back? Will you have your own web shop again? Or will the RAMs only be available via other platforms?
I was planning to make and build an own web shop, but it's a lot of work. And like sending out the stuff is a lot of work. It's like, yeah, I rather just build the stuff and give it away to like Mike or Timo and Katha to the stores, and they sell them. So it's easier for me to just focus on building the ramp and enjoying fingerboarding.
Yeah, and we had one last question, because we've seen over the years Harriers have been on and off availability, and Harrier is probably one of the most famous brands in the scene. So we asked ourselves, why is that they've been on and off, and will there be more consistency in the future?
Damn, yeah, that's true. Most of the time I'm pretty busy with just hanging around, playing video games, going skating, or just fingerboarding or having fun. And yeah, sometimes I just remember, hey, shit, I could make some ramps. It's like a process. It's not my main job or something. It's something I do on the side, and which I really enjoy. So I don't want to have to do it. It's more like I want to do it. And when I want to make ramps, they come out really good. So I better just keep it on the want to do it side instead of the I have to do it side. But I'm planning to be more consistent in the future. Like for the Asi Berlin store, at least I want to make a stock every month so that every obstacle is there every month and not always out of stock. And I'm trying to make some new ramps in the next month. So keep your eyes out. Yeah, and thanks to Tom for asking these questions, and thanks for everyone who's interested and hearing it. Have a good one. Thank you.
Harry, thank you so much for your answers, taking the time to answer them, and for being on the show. And we're looking forward for more to come, definitely.
Yeah.
So that's it with that part of the show, and we're going over to the story quiz. And this week it is my turn to quiz Tom, who has to guess whose story that was. Tom, there are 3 stories in this episode,
Okay.
but they are from the same person, and basically it's one video split into 3 stories. So that's why I chose 3 stories, and I'm describing what happens in these 3 stories. But keep in mind, it's basically just one video.
Okay.
Okay. So the layout stays the same over all 3 stories. Is the video in the middle and text above. Okay. First story. It says above the video, "Welcome back," and below the deck company tag. Below the video, there's the deck company tag of the board the person is riding. Okay. And he does the same flat trick 7 times and bails it once.
Okay.
Second story. It says the trick above that he just did repeatedly in the video, and he repeats it another 5 times and bails it twice this time around.
Okay.
Okay? And in the third story, there's a yellow heart above the video, and the video changes to slow motion, and he does a double version of the trick he just repeated several times.
Okay.
Do you get it?
I think so, yeah.
It's basically just long video where he does the same trick over and over again and fails sometimes.
And then
does a double. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And the welcome back was in the first, or what?
Yeah, so in the first story it says above the video "Welcome back," and beneath there's the deck company tag of the, you know. In the second it says above the name of the trick. So it just says, you know, whatever trick he's doing, it says that trick name above. And in the third story there's just a yellow heart.
Okay,
Yeah.
I got it. Yeah.
Okay. And then the others, the text is yellow as well. So that's why a yellow, it's a kind of all yellow. Okay. Was that A, the notorious .pip, Italian fingerboarder and ex-Rams team rider, being happy about his new fingerboard as well as his nollie heels being back in his repertoire?
Okay.
Or was that B, Lyman_Beats, whose real name is Julian Endemann. He's an Austrian fingerboarder and beatboxer, challenging finger skateboard cinema to its tray flip days. You know? Or was that C, Fingered Ben, showing that consistency is key and promoting his newest YouTube part, which will be full of creativity again?
Wow, good one again. Nice. Let's see. Okay, and the first rider, I think I don't really know.
Okay.
So that's hard to say. But using all the yellow stuff is making me think that it might have to do with fingerboard cinema, because he has the yellow stuff going on a lot.
I understand.
Might be also the first one, but I think I'm gonna go with answer B.
Would be Lehman Beats.
Yeah.
Sorry, Tom, you were almost right. It was the notorious Pip. He was Welcome Back was apparently for his nollie heels.
Okay.
He was Welcome Back nollie heels, and then it said nollie heel in the second, and he did the nollie heel repeatedly, and then did the nollie double heel in the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah, but you did a good job on the answers.
thank you. And good guess as well. You almost had it this time around.
Yeah, I only wondered because I didn't see the tray flip days or something
Yeah.
you mentioned, so I was wondering it might be false answer, but
Yeah.
yeah, funny one. Good one.
Cool.
Oh no, I lost again. So better let's talk about some winners now.
Yes.
And we have a winner for our giveaway we did in our previous episode, and which was sponsored by Black River Ramps. And the winner of the Mike Schneider signature ramp is
Slamswill_FB.
Slamswill FB. Congrats.
Congratulations. We sent you a message. You sent us your address, and we sent you the ramp.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Black River, for being for doing that giveaway with us. Thank you very much
Yeah, and
for
thanks
sponsoring
everyone.
it.
Thanks everyone for taking part.
Oh yeah, that as well. Good idea. Sweet, cool. And then we go into our last category. As you guys already know, it is the video of the episode. My video of the episode are actually 2 videos, because X-Rams, the company founded by Paolo Melillo, is active again on YouTube, and they released 2 YouTube videos recently, and I was just happy to see him and the guys back. So these are my videos of the episode. Go check them out.
Ah, thanks, Ollie. Good to know that he's back with that. My video of the week is actually also like multiple ones this time that impressed me the most within the last 2 weeks, and they are made by a young man by the name of Memphis Lafferty from, I think it's Alabama, if the location tag is right on that one picture he posted. And his Instagram handle is MemphisLove with _F_FB. Yeah, and I feel like I gotta say a few more words about his videos this time, because I found them particularly inspiring and motivating, because he's become quite a great rider and also a skateboarder without having 4 arms and no legs at all. Yes, you've heard right, he has no arms and no legs. And it seems like not only I think that this approach is worth supporting, but also many companies before me did. So his bio says he is sponsored by Joycult, Pydex, Theory Grip, NQY Word, and WT fingerboarding. Yeah, and I mean, seeing his obviously kind of different approach on fingerboarding to me personally feels really like strengthening and makes me think about what this is all about. And I feel really thankful for him sharing this nothing can stop me attitude. Yeah, I mean, you really have to watch his writing for yourself to see what it does to you, but let me just tell you that in one of his latest posts he did a 360 flip Smith grind, and he casually puts a fakey pop shove it to switch front crooks after it to make it a really hard line. Yeah, and now just go watch it for yourself. And speaking of watching for yourself, all the links to all the topics we discuss are in the description below, so everything we talk about is just 2 clicks away. And that's it for our 3rd episode. Thanks so much for listening. We really appreciate all your feedback again and looking forward to let us know if you would have guessed the quiz and stuff like that.
Definitely.
Yeah, you will hear from us
In 2 weeks.
Bye bye, 2 fingers, peace.
Can't stop fingerboarding, 'cause I live fingerboarding, 'cause I need fingerboarding, 'cause I live fingerboarding, 'cause I need fingerboarding. Lot of hit to suck up by myself.